How to complete any motorcycle trip successfully. I recently had a video on this topic, but usually on these streams we discuss everything with a little bit more details, and of course with your help we will be able to make something useful for everyone who is going to watch this stream after that. So in this live stream I'm gonna give you 5 very useful and proven tips that will help you to complete any trip with minimum problems and maximum efficiency. Getting old and slow. I cannot believe, but it's a good excuse for now. Yeah, I became also very old. I can feel the heaviness of the years already. 50 years old, half century, man. When I was a kid, I was counting the years and saying that, oh man, in a year 2000, I'll be 26 years old. So old already. Man, so many years went just like that. My father used to say that the life is like a roll of toilet paper. The less it has, the faster it spins. You're 32 and feel old. Okay, you shouldn't, but fair enough. How to complete any motorcycle trip successfully. I recently had a video on this topic, but usually on these streams we discuss everything with a little bit more details, and of course with your help we will be able to make something useful for everyone who is going to watch this stream after that. So in this live stream I'm gonna give you 5 very useful and proven tips that will help you to complete any trip with minimum problems and maximum efficiency. This is the idea of my channel, the idea of these live streams and everything that I do in the internet presence, I'll say, to help you and many other people to complete their trip successfully. Because when I started riding like 15, 17 years ago, there were no YouTube channels to explain me how to do everything. And I learned everything by making mistakes. So the idea of my channels is to shorten it the way and eventually learn everything and start your trips without any mistakes. You don't need to do it the hard way, or as we say in Bulgaria, you don't need to discover a hot water if someone already did it for you. So as I said, I'm gonna give you 5 very useful tips that will help you to complete any trip successfully with the maximum efficiency and minimum problems. And of course, as usual guys, let me finish here. Everything that I plan is not that much, it's actually only 5 tips. And after that you'll have time for questions, or if you want to add something, to add additional information for everyone who is going to watch the stream after that. So bear with me until I finish, and then you can ask questions or add information, all right? So the tips that I'm gonna give you now are more or less universal. They could be applied to many other aspects from our lives, but they're specifically important for motorcycle traveling. So number 1, I'm not gonna waste any more time, we'll start immediately. Number 1 is to make a good plan in advance. I talked a lot about plans, how important the plans are, that you have to have a plan every time when you start a trip. Don't start the trip without any plans. Make a good plan in advance, prepare everything in advance. I talk a lot about it. There are still so many people that will tell you that when you have a plan, it's not a pleasure anymore, it's not an adventure anymore. There will be also people that will swear that they travel without any plans, but as I said many times, in my opinion, to travel without any plans, it's impossible, unless you decided to ride around your hometown, maybe a couple of 100 kilometers, just to spend the time like that. If you have idea to make a trip, if you want to complete this trip successfully, you will definitely need a plan. First, because most of the people got limited time, and when you have limited time, let's say 2 or 3 weeks holiday, if you start traveling without any plans, you will waste a lot of time. You will waste your holiday actually. You will circle like a fly and you will waste your holiday. So you definitely need a plan, no doubts about it. If you want the trip to be successfully completed, you need a plan. And the plan has to be realistic. What I'm saying, what I would like to say with this, I would like to say that you cannot make a plan to go to Magadan and back if you have 2 weeks holiday, because it is not realistic. To visit Magadan and go back, you will need at least 3 months, as I did it last year. So when you have 2 or 3 weeks, you can make a plan that is realistic and that will fit to these 2 or 3 weeks that you have. If it's not realistic, that means you wouldn't be able to see anything, or you'll spend too much time riding, or you will just, as I said before, you will waste your holiday. That's why the plan needs to be realistic to be possible to complete it successfully. If it's not realistic, you just cannot complete it. And then you can blame me, Pauline, I have a plan in advance, but I couldn't finish the trip successfully. But you said that if I have a plan, I'll be able to finish it. Yes, but the plan has to be realistic. Without a realistic plan, you cannot complete the trip successfully. I hope that you got the idea now. Second point is that the second point from the first tip is that the plan needs to be made for you, for your riding skills and the type of motorcycle that you are riding. Which is mean that you cannot take my plan, apply it in your life, and expect it to finish it successfully. Because my plans, my riding skills, the type of motorcycle that I'm riding, and everything that I do in my life might be completely different than your life. You might be much better than me, don't get me wrong, but my plan is my plan. So the plan that you have to have, it needs to be realistic, it needs to be made for you, exactly for your needs, for your riding skills, for your motorcycle. Because if you're able to ride with your motorcycle maximum 300 kilometers per day, the plan needs to be customized because of your needs. So you cannot plan 800 kilometers per day if you cannot make more than 300 per day because of your skills and because of your motorcycle. Also, if you know that on the section, or if you know that the area that you plan to visit has a very difficult off-road terrain, but you don't have any off-road skills, you cannot make it. That's why I said the plans need to be realistic and exactly customized for you. It will be much better if you underestimate instead of overestimate yours and your motorcycle possibilities. What I want to say with this is that when you have a plan, sometimes it's better to underestimate some of your skills or possibilities at the moment than to overestimate it. Because when you overestimate it, you might have a problem. If you underestimate it, that means you'll be able to go through faster. Maybe if you plan 5 hours, but you go for 2.5 hours, you'll have 2.5 hours to spend it on whatever you like. This is what I mean by this too. Better is to underestimate instead of overestimate your motorcycle possibilities. A good plan starts before the trip and continues during the trip with all the necessary aspects. So when I said make a good plan in advance, it's very important to start it many days, months before the trip. It starts with the preparation of the motorcycle, plans, drawing the maps and anything, continues during the trip, and will finish only when you get back home safe in one piece. This is a good plan in advance, made in advance. And the last point on the topic of the plan is make changes only if they are really necessary. So you have your plan, you have the whole idea, how the whole journey will go, and suddenly you decided to make a change and go to completely different area, spend another 2-3 days without even have any idea, can you make it? Or can you afford this time or stuff like that? That's why make changes only if they are really necessary. If they are not necessary, stick to the plan, continue doing what you have planned earlier, and you will succeed. KK, good evening. Nice to see you, man. We started already. We're on the first point. You did not miss much, but bear with me until I finish, and then we can talk and ask questions, okay? Thank you very much for coming. All right, once again, just to recapitulate everything, make a good plan in advance. He says to be realistic, made for you. Better is to underestimate instead of overestimate your skills. A good plan starts before the trip and continues during the trip, and finish when you finish at home, and make changes only if they are really necessary. That's everything that I wanted to say on the topic plans, or the first tip, plans. Make a good plan in advance. So let's go to the second tip, which is ride a motorcycle that you can afford and you can control. Sounds like very logical, but actually I have seen so many people riding motorcycles that they cannot afford. They're too expensive for them. They borrow money to buy it from friends, from family members, from banks, loans, or they're riding motorcycles that they cannot afford to ride because they're too expensive, too heavy, too big for them. So ride a motorcycle that you can afford and you can control. If you're 160 or 165 or 170 centimeters, it is obvious that you wouldn't be able to control Tenere 700 like mine. It's not that it's so big and heavy motorcycle, but it is tall enough, and if you have 160 or 170, you wouldn't be able to touch the ground. So even if you're a very skilled rider, you'll manage to ride it here and there, but I'm sure that on some stage you'll have a problem with this just because you cannot have a flat feet on the ground. So ride a motorcycle that you can afford and you can control. First, you don't need to buy the most expensive motorcycle just because someone says so to travel. You can travel with whatever motorcycle you can afford. And second, you can control. Buying an expensive machine will limit your riding options a lot. What I mean by that, if you have very shiny, expensive motorcycle, it will be probably insured at home. And if the motorcycle is insured, every time when you go to the difficult sections, you will think about it. You'll say, man, if I drop it now, my insurance company will raise the fee. Next time I have to pay more. I'm not sure about it. And this will limit your trips. This will limit your adventures or the possibilities that you can go or the places that you can go during your trip. That's why it's much better to start the trip with something that you can afford. Even if you drop it here and there, it's not going to be a big deal. You might scratch some plastics or even break some elements of the motorcycle, but you're not gonna cry with that and you're not gonna need to rob a bank to restore it when you get back home. Learn how to ride it on and off-road. And I don't mean only to learn how to stay straight on the motorcycle. No, learn how to ride it properly. And this is a procedure that usually takes months, maybe years. You cannot just take one new model motorcycle now and learn how to ride it for 2 hours. Even if you have a very long experience, if you travel with motorcycles from a long time, you will still need some days to adjust yourself to the motorcycle that you plan to travel with. So learn how to ride this motorcycle properly at home when you have time, on and off-road. When I say learn how to ride it off-road, it doesn't mean to become off-road expert, but at least to know how the motorcycle handles dirt roads, how it reacts, what you need to know. Maybe if necessary, take some courses, riding courses. Learn how to ride it properly in any kind of situations. Learn how to ride it on the nice sunny day, on the rainy day, on the wind day, or many different weather and riding conditions. This will help you a lot during the trip. As I said, everything that I'm going to tell you here will help you to complete the trip successfully. Learn and practice how to do basic maintenance at home and on the road. This is also very important because when you go on the trip far away from home, you cannot be sure that every time you will find a garage or someone to do the maintenance of your motorcycle. And if the trip is long enough that will require maintenance, you have to be able to do at least the basic maintenance alone by yourself. Changing the oil, changing the tires, air filters, or stuff like that. Maybe spark plugs, maybe wheel bearings, anything. Basic maintenance, you have to learn how to do it by yourself. Believe it or not, it's not that difficult. It's not a rocket science. with a few videos from YouTube or a few articles that you can find online, and of course a little practice, you'll be able to make it by yourself. But learn how to do it now at home, when you have time, when the environment is predictable, when everything is safe and secure. When you make a mistake, you can correct it on the next day or the day after that. But when you learn how to do a basic maintenance on the road, it might go wrong, and when it goes wrong, your trip is stopped and you wouldn't be able to complete it. I hope that you got the idea. If the model that you plan to use for the trip is too complicated, my advice is just change it. It does not work to travel with very rare, complicated, or very expensive or difficult to maintain motorcycle. Because if the motorcycle that you're having is complicated, it's difficult to be maintained when you're at home, it will be almost impossible to find the right person to work on it when you travel, especially outside of Europe. If you're in Europe, in most of the big cities, you'll find qualified garages and they will fix it for you. Of course, the price will be very high, but they will fix it for you. But outside of Europe, people will just say, sorry, we cannot do anything about it. So if the model is too complicated, change it. This is number 2. Ride a motorcycle that you can afford and you can control. Let's go to number 3. Don't risk more than you can handle. It's a very simple, again, and logical advice, but I have seen so many people make such a huge mistakes in the name of what? I don't know, in the name of the adventure or whatever. Don't risk more than you can handle, especially if it won't bring anything meaningful to the original plan. So you don't need to risk. Let me give you an example. You're riding on your plan, on your route, direction, let's say north. But suddenly you saw that on the right hand side, a small wooden truck is going somewhere into the forest. You don't know where. But you decided, man, this will be a good moment just to go away and ride a little bit off-road. You don't know what this path will bring you. You don't know what is behind these trees. You don't know what you will see, which is mean that you're not sure that this path will bring you something meaningful to your trip, but you still want to do it. All right, fair enough, I respect this decision, but when you start going over there and see that the truck is going but, the condition of the road is getting worse and worse and worse, and no people and no one there, and it's became more dangerous and dangerous without any rewards, because you don't know what will be at the end, my advice is just stop there and go back. So don't risk more in the name of something that you're not sure that will deliver anything in reverse or in a favor. So don't risk more than you can handle, especially if it won't bring anything meaningful to the original plan. I hope that you understood what I mean. Don't risk the whole plan for a moment fun. Okay, I'm gonna have some nice track now, nice ride here. I'm gonna try to ride this section for 2 or 3 minutes as fast as possible. You'll risk a lot in the name of what? The most important of everything is to complete your trip, see everything that you have planned, and get back home safe in one piece. So don't risk in the name of fun, moment fun. Don't risk the whole journey. Don't risk your life even, your safety, in the name of fun. Just don't do it. It's not working. It's not worth it at all. So this was number 3. Let's go to number 4. Stick to the plan. I told you how important is the plan. I told you that you shouldn't risk here and there, but let me tell you once again, stick to the plan. It is normal to have some doubts. So even if you have some doubts, okay, can I make it now? Man, this looks so far away. It looks so difficult. No, I'm not gonna make it. No, listen. Stick to the plan. You will make it. You don't need to see everything from the beginning until the end. You just need to stay or survive one day. If it's difficult on that day, wait maybe another day, or maybe tomorrow will be way better. If it's so difficult to ride today 500 kilometers. Wait a second, tomorrow might be different. So stick to the plan and go one day, then another day, then another day. You don't need to worry about all 20 days or 30 days or 90 days that you plan ahead. Just think day by day. But it's normal to have some doubts. Everyone has it. I also doubt all the time. Every time when I start any trip, I have some doubts. Is this the right moment? Am I ready now? Is this the right direction? I might have a problem here or there. Yeah, of course, this is normal to have doubts. Stick to the plan. That's why you have a plan to guide you. The plan actually is like your friend or your riding partner. When you have some doubts, you go back to the plan and say, okay, let's see. Today these kilometers might be very hard, but tomorrow I'll be able to relax a little bit more, or tomorrow will be pleasure, or tomorrow I'll have a day off. That's why you have a plan. So stick to it. Improvise or make some changes to the plan only if they are really necessary. I just told you in number 3, in number 3, that you shouldn't risk. But now I'm gonna tell you, improvise or make some changes to the plan only if they are really necessary. Once again, I told you, stick to the plan. But if, for example, your motorcycle got a technical problem, or you have a health problem, it is necessary to change the plan, to improvise or make some corrections because of the motorcycle or because of your health. Anything else does not matter. So only changes or improvisations only if they are really necessary and will bring something to the original plan. Otherwise, don't make changes, because when you make a plan at home, you stay at your place, you relax, you're drinking tea, coffee, whiskey, whatever, and you have a clear vision how everything is going. You have a lot of information, internet, telephones, you can check everything, and you know that the plan could be executed successfully. But when you're on the road, you're on stress, you're tired, you don't think properly, so you might think absolutely different, or the decisions that you took at home might be completely different than the decisions that you might take when you're on the road. That's why you have the plan, once again, to guide you. So improvise or make some changes only if they are necessary and will bring something to the plan. Remember that you will probably never go back in this area again. So if you decided that, okay, I'm gonna skip this area because there are too many kilometers, or the road is too difficult, or it's too heavy rain now, but you might never go back here in this area. I regret to so many places that I just skip it like that, and now I will never go back again. The example that I can give you now is when I was in Central Asia many years ago. It was somewhere in Kyrgyzstan. Met a really nice local guy, and he offered to us. We're with my riding friend Dima. We actually camp in his place, and he said, "What are your plans? Where are you going tomorrow?" We said, "Tomorrow we need to ride. We need to reach to this town or that town." And he said, "If you just stay for a couple of days, tomorrow we'll go into the mountains. My brother is living there. He has a big lodge, so we're gonna spend the next 2-3 days over there in the mountain. We're gonna ride horses. We're gonna fish. We'll do fishing, maybe hunting. We're gonna have a wonderful experience. Just stay for a couple of days." But we were on hurry. We have visas and we have no time, and the time was limited and the money were limited. And we said, no, man, thank you very much, but we have to go. Now I regret so badly. This was this was such a rare opportunity to have this experience, to go into Kyrgyzstan mountain with the local people, to ride horses and stuff like that. So this is what I'm saying. Don't try to skip places just because you're tired or something is wrong at the moment or the weather is bad, because these are the places that you might never go again. That's why number 4 is stick to the plan. Follow the plan, because you never know what will happen after that. Another one example I can give you is that many years ago, again, a friend of mine asked me to go to Syria. I said, nah, I don't want to go to Syria now. I'm going to do it after a few years' time. Now I cannot go to Syria. It's the same with all of these countries like Iraq, Iran probably wouldn't be possible after a few months, we never know. You know how I was able to go and visit Russia, but just like that, it was so close to being possible. And you don't know what is going to be in the future in Russia. You never know. Stick to the plan. And the last, number 5, is don't relax until you get back home. When you get back home, not in your home country, not in your hometown, no, in your home, in your house. Because the end is when you turn off the motorcycle at home, in your garage. Because the closer you are, the more you want to go home, and the easier it's going to be to make a mistake. That difficult it is. Now on my way back from Magadan, for the first time, I'm traveling from so many years, but for the first time, when I reached Varna, I get so, not excited, I got so, not nervous, I don't know the right word, whatever. For the first time from many years, I felt differently. I really appreciate what I have done for the first time. And my heart started beating like that when I saw the sign Varna. I said, man, I was so far away, at the end of the world, 20,000 kilometers away. And I was able to go back all the way, and everything can come back here safe in one piece. So for the first time from many years, I really felt it. So don't get loose until you turn off the motorcycle in your garage. Just because you complete the main goal does not mean that you will be able to get back home. The example is again from Magadan. My main goal was to reach Magadan. But when I reached Magadan, this was the goal. Okay, I did it. I reached Magadan. But from Magadan to my home are another 20,000 kilometers. 20,000 kilometers. Can you imagine? So the main goal is already executed. The trip is done. But I still need to get back home. So don't get back home and don't get loose until you get back home. So the less you have left, the easier it is to make a mistake. Stay focused until the end. And as I said, the end is when you turn off your motorcycle at home. Alright guys, that's everything that I planned. I know that it's not much, only 5 tips. But they are very, very useful tips, and if you do what I just told you, I can guarantee that 99% or 95% of the times you will complete your trip successfully. There is still 5% risk, but they are part of the adventure. Richard, work out your budget and still do it. Yeah, absolutely. Budget is very important. It's again part of the plan before the trip and during the trip. If necessary, cut some expensive before the trip, cut some expensive during the trip, but you have to be able to make it. So now guys, thank you very much Richard for adding this for everyone who is on the stream at the moment. If you have any questions on this topic or any topic, or if you want to add information, please do it so. As I told you in the beginning, all of this information will be very useful and beneficial for everyone who is going to watch the stream after that. So I have 6 people now at the moment. Alex, Big D, Wolfgang, Richard, KK, another few. Ogi, oh, happy Easter Ogi. How are you doing, man? You just came or you've been here? You've been here, good. I haven't seen your avatar. Absolutely, don't travel with health issues. You need to resolve it before setting off. Absolutely agree with this, Richard. Even if you have some caviars or some cavities or some problems with your teeth, fix it before the trip, because this will be the last thing that you will like to have while you travel. Any health problem needs to be fixed before the trip. Thank you very much for adding, Richard. From all of these small and sometimes silly things depends the success of your trip. Good maintenance on the motorcycle also means good maintenance on your body. If you're in good health, you'll be able to travel easy. If you have some medical or health problems, then it's going to be disaster. It's going to be a torture to travel for so many kilometers. Better is to stay home, fix it, and then you can travel again. Any others? Go ahead, guys. I'm sure that you have a lot of information and also a lot of questions. Alex, Big D, Wolfgang, Ogi, go ahead. Any questions are appreciated on this or different topics, doesn't matter. I'll try to help. Big D, if you're on meds, make sure that you carry extra. Absolutely, you can even split it on 2 different bags, because if you lose your meds, might be a problem. Richard, bad days will happen on your trip. Accept them and keep doing at least major program. Yeah. I'll agree with this as well. There will be some bad moments, there will be some beautiful moments. If someone tell you that on the trip everything is pink, don't trust. Sometimes there are moments and days that you will regret that you even traveling. But this is all part of the adventure. Then you will appreciate good days. For example, when it's a cold and rain and miserable and everything is wet and you have so many kilometers to cover and you're shivering in your riding gear and you just said, man, why the hell I decided to do all of this? But this is what it is. It will go on, the next day will be sunny and enjoyable, and you will twist the throttle and you'll have a smile on your face. But it's so nice when you are able to complete the trip. So nice. When you look back and see how many days, how many kilometers, how many different things you have seen, and so on and so on and so on. Alright guys, no more questions. As usual, thank you very much for supporting the channel. Thank you very much for coming on this stream. Thank you very much for adding this information and questions. Good night to all of you. The stream next week will be again on Sunday. I don't know the topic yet. If you have any suggestions, you can tell me now, or you can type in the community tab. If not, I will find a topic and we're gonna talk about it. Thank you once again, and happy Easter, and see you next week. Ciao.